All right, gentlemen, let's go through this week's video session. The purpose of this video is for those that are unable to make it. So let's make sure we spend some time with it and be on the same page when it comes on game day this weekend. So the focus is we're going to look more at the 3-5-2 or playing against the 3-5-2. Pretty common, we believe, Des Moines to come out something similar, and Twin Stars traditionally plays from a similar structure. So I want to just be on the same page. So our starting point, we'll look at us without the ball. So we're playing against the ball, trying to win it back. Here's that 3-5-2 shape. What spaces are we most vulnerable with our shape? And as we've talked about before, it's really being focused on how do we deal with this space here with the wing back sits. So for us, the important thing is going to be the distance between our outside back and winger. How do we deal with that? And how do we know when is the right time to try to trap it? And then how do we then press the wide center backs? As you'll see in the videos, we made some choices from wingers stepping out, which wasn't great, which stretched the distances between our wing back, our outside back and our winger, and made it tougher to get to the wing backs to play. So first one here, looking at the shape, our winger is going to jump out at the ball to their outside center back. So you'll see, so Midu goes, go again. Now in this case, it's a win. We break. We're not really upset with it, but you'll see later why. So you watch it again. What we're going to ask as we start to look at this is, what if he played big? Do we have that extra layer to help with the wing back if the ball was knocked into it? So, and the body shape from our winger was also pressing the game in. Remember, we're trying to keep that central space denied. We don't want them to have access to it. So here's an example of how we want to do it. So in this case, Dom is one of the center mids. He's going to jump to it. Now, even though our left winger jumped as well, and we would probably prefer him to provide cover and to cut the ball out, we were able to win with our center mid coming from inside out. So we want those center mid to be traveling from the inside, pressing out, and then forcing the game out wide. So watch again. So now our left center mid goes from the inside out to press that wide center back. And I believe that even if Midu dropped off and provide cover, he would have been able to cut that ball out that was missed hit anyways, and we're on the break. So we'll look at this in a more static setup. So as the ball gets out to their wide center backs, we would want one of our center mids to jump out and press it. The reason being, the path is inside out. So naturally, his path is going to cut balls out from the middle and keep the game moving to the width. Now, as we talked about before, that leaves a gap behind that jumping center mid. So how do we deal with that? Our 6 is able to slide in to cover that space. So we flatten out a little bit. So now we got to worry about who's going to deal with their 10, who's going to deal with their backside holding mid. And we start to look at how we share those responsibilities. So that ball far center mid, the 10 in this case, is able to come back down and help on their 10, is able to step out and help on their 6, and our winger is there as well to assist. So we'll watch it again. We want to be able to get out as it goes. The 7, our right winger, is able to stay tucked in and be able to deal with the wing back if the ball goes. We're able to slide up and reduce the spaces. And again, we have coverage for that backside, that weak side that we're worried about. All right. This one now, as we're looking again, this is a good example of what happens if the distance between our winger and our outside back gets too big. So if you look at how far away Midu is to Matt, by the time Matt has to get out there and close it, they're able to play through us. So how would we respond? We would rather just have him drop, close the space. Midu can keep dropping. We knew the ball was going to go there, and then that would allow us to be able to arrive on that same side at the same time. The outside back and the winger can arrive. So we were a little disjointed. Winger got caught a little too high, and that stretched us. And if you think about it, when we look at this game, what 2 players cramped up and had the most work, it was probably down the left side. And some of the challenges we presented to ourselves was because of the spacing and how much extra running they did. So from a positive, this is against St. Croix. So as you'll watch this, we were able to keep the distance between our right winger and our right back closer. So when they do play out to that wing back, our ability to get out and press it was much easier, shorter distances, and we're able to turn the ball over without having to sprint 20 yards to get out and press the ball. So watch again. So the distance between our right winger and our right back, much closer, makes it easier to get out and press on the ball. Boom. And now, not overly aggressive, we're able to get into that, win the ball, and go. All right. So if we flip it onto the attacking side, so what spaces are they going to give us? We'll go back and look at it. So look at their shape. Obviously, if we're positioned correctly, we can create that 3v3 on their back three. So it's important that we recognize that's some of the dangerous spaces for us. So if we can catch their wing backs high, how do we attack that back three? So this clip is a really good example of how we can quickly take advantage of that 3v3 setup across their back line. We regain the ball here. Chuck's able to play a good, safe pass to help build the next one. Boom, we connect the next one, and now Aiden plays an early ball out to the opposite side. Now watch again. Their back three currently is shifting over to deal with our play here. So we've drawn them over, and then with one touch, we're out to escape the other side. And if we get a good first touch running forward, we have 3v3 across their back line. So watch again. We win it. We connect enough passes to get control. Boom. And now we attack that opposite weak side where they leave open. And their wingbacks racing to get back in. And like I said, with a good first touch, better situation, we have a pretty good opportunity to go forward. On the next one, similar. You guys have seen this clip before. How do we get that 3v3 across the back? So as you watch, we pull their holder out, and at this moment, we've got 3-on-3 across the back line. Midu keeps his width, and then we have those dangerous moments where we can go at him. So if you watch again, it's more about what kind of situation do we create across their back three. So Leo's on one side, one of their center backs. Loic's on the other one, and Midu's occupying the other one. Their holder flies out, or their wingback flies out to deal with it. Now we've got 3v3 across the back. Again, that's the target. Something that we've worked on. How do we overload that now? Outside center back, isolate him, and rotate around him. And then the last opportunity is, especially like in this game against St. Croix and very likely against Des Moines, if we get pressed high and they really tighten up and man mark, which they've shown they've done, there's going to be space in behind them. And so then this is an example of, Tyler's able to see and play over them right away. And if you look at it, again, it's our front three versus their back three. And then with some of our athletic players up front, we can create some 1v1 situations and get in behind them. So again, they've man-marked, they've been tight, they come high, and now we're off. Boom, 3 players running at their 3 center backs. And it's a little bit more of a foot race, which I know we can win. So watch again. It's just recognizing they've tightened up, they've got their numbers high, their line is highish. Boom. Louis gets in behind, and then we can challenge them from that perspective. So again, guys, we showed some different, obviously different ways to create it, but it's really looking for the 3v3 across the back line and how we do it. So from a building perspective, we've talked about this before. We still want to keep a similar build shape where our front three are pinning back their back three and possibly their back five. Our width is going to come from our outside backs in the build. So that's a restart from goal kick or from Troy's hands or whoever's in goal's hands, and we go from there. So what this is doing with this shape is we're really challenging their wing back to read the game and make a decision. So if they decide to go man for man in the midfield and they have two strikers on our center backs, our advantage is going to come in the width. And how do we manipulate that 2v1 on each side? So in this build-up, you'll see it's important to watch the behavior of the wingback when they jump. Right here, the wingback goes, we turn away. Watch this, the wingback jumps again, we play the other way. And now we've got a chance, if Leo presses on, 3v3 across their back. So watch again. Watch their movement of their wing backs because he's trying to deal with our winger and our outside back at the same time. Look he cheated. Wing back cheats. Now we turn and go past him. And Leo bombs on, and we've got 3v3. And this is where Dom abuses them for 2 megs. But watch one more time. So this is the type of behavior, like our positioning and our decisions is how do we deal with that 2v1 on the wing back? How do we deal with them? And they decide to jump, we play the other way. If that wing back stayed back to control it, then we just play into our outside back and we progressively move ourselves up the field collectively. But in this case, the wing backs are overplaying, they jump aggressively, and now let's abuse that with a 3v3 across their back three. All right, guys. We'll have a chance to talk about this more, but this will be important. And the final piece is just making we know our roles within our defensive corner setup. So the plan is, and this is going out to both groups in PSL and USL2. So typically we're going to have our two best headers are going to be free on the 6. All right, we need our 2 best headers to be free just to go attack the ball. We'll put one on the front post, and then everyone else is like for like as far as trying to find a man mark that's close to their size and their quality. All right, we will adjust who we want to be the high player. So, depending on who it is and the qualities of that player, we will claim who is the highest player. So it might not necessarily be the striker. It might be a winger who's really quick, and we can use them on the counter. But it's important that we're on the same page as this, and we've done a good job in the past with this. So making sure you know what your role is. All right, guys. So spend time with it. I know I went through it fast, but some really good examples of how do we take advantage of the shape that we're about to face with the qualities that we have, and go from there. All right, we'll see you guys on the weekend.